Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tim Vixay with my crippled friend, and this is episode number 27. I'm still here at the Oscar Mike compound with two of my crippled buddies. We have returning guest, Mr. Rob Schuler.
Hey, how's it going?
And new guest, Mr. John Adamiec.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Ooh, and that's not a good start because the camera's already fucking up. But anyways, no, hey, I just wanted to get you guys on the show because, like, we're all here at the compound now, and it's just, there's something cool that comes alive about this place when you get more than two guys in. And we got a full boat now, too, because, like, Mason showed up, Noah's here, we got Autumn, and, like, it's...
Yeah, the energy in this house is electric. It's amazing. It's like the way I explain to people is it feels like the house is alive. It's breathing. You know, everyone's just vibing.
Alive like The Shining.
Yeah.
Because actually last night, and this is no shit, we were downstairs watching a movie on the big screen, and them cork boards that are right there, like by the dartboard. Right next to the elevator.
Start popping off. Huh?
Two of them popped off like no shit. Like nobody was around, and straight up they just fell off. We were like, "What the fuck?"
And
like,
the trash can over in the corner pops open every single freaking time we're back.
That's what happens
when no one's over there by it too.
No shit. Yeah, dude. I've been in this house before where I know it's me and I'm all by myself. Everybody's fucking, out of town or whatever, and I will be downstairs and I'll hear like the sink in the kitchen turn on. Or a door close, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go to my room and just sleep with my rifle tonight.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so both of you guys are rostered members of the militia. Rob, this is gonna be your second season with us, and John, this is your
first.
Yeah. What? And you've already done a tournament with us now too, right?
Yeah.
What? And you guys were both in Chicago, right?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't there, so. Break it down. Like, what happened?
We had a good clinic with Wilsey from
yeah, and that was a couple days.
Yeah, Canada's
Paralympic coach.
Yeah, their assistant Paralympic.
Yeah,
coach.
I think he's the assistant coach for
great guy.
Team Canada.
Yeah, great guy.
Amazing guy. That was the second camp he's done with us.
Yeah, super nice. I mean,
you know what's really cool about that too? You know how much we pay him to do that?
No.
I don't think we pay him anything.
We literally pay him a 24-pack of beer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not even good beer.
I remember that.
He just wants a pack of Bud Light. He's
I know we had done that clinic, and the Bears brawl was right afterwards, and they were like, "Do you want to come out with us and coach?" And he's like, "Sure, why not?"
Yeah.
Great coach, dude.
What else am I doing out there?
Learned so much that weekend.
Amazing rugby mind.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked with a lot of, excellent top-level head coaches before, and I will say the way that Dave Wilsey approaches the game, but then also the way he is able to break things down Barney style and actually teach.
Yep.
And, like, I learned.
It's super cool-headed over it. We lost between Oscar Mike. We lost every single game except for Oscar Mike versus Oscar Mike.
Yeah.
And he
you
lost.
guys were down in the toilet bowl?
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
you know what? The way he put it though is that that tournament was still a win for us because we broke it down to the basics and we got our skills on point. He said it's just a matter of time before the team gets, because we're still growing. We're a new team,
Yeah,
new
essentially,
players.
I think I've talked about this with someone before, but essentially it's just a brand new team. We're starting over because we have a bunch of new rostered players.
Yeah.
And I think what I want to do this season in particular is I want to build the team from the ground up the right way, learn the fundamentals before because I think that's what got us into trouble at nationals was because we were just so used to just out muscling and being tougher than the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just, I guess you would call it like smash mouth rugby.
Yeah.
Where we would just out physical the other teams, but then what got us into trouble at nationals was like we met teams that
A little more skilled
that
with their level-headed.
that were just as tough And,
or had an iron chin.
And
take that a little bit of smack.
Yeah, and or outfunctioned us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at like our starting lineup back last year, like 3 out of the 4 starters could be argued that like we kind of were at the top end of our class, so we were able to cover up a lot of our deficiencies with, just function.
Right.
And that's not how you should build a rugby team.
Right.
You cannot be successful at. It got proven you can't be successful at a D2 level, certainly not a D1 level. So.
Well, one of the best things I liked about that practice, and I put a real concentration on it, was keeping your hands on your wheels, so that way you're not resting your arms during a game. Treat the practice like it's a game, doing everything you do like it's a game, and then train as you fight. That's what we do in the military. Train as you fight. Let's do it in the rugby
And
world.
actually, I would expand on that, and like the way that I train and always try to prepare for rugby or any athletic achievement is I try to overtrain, where it's like the training is the hardest physical thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Where when
Yeah.
I get put into that real-time game situation, it's easy. It should always be easy, even if you train for overtime. So like you get into an overtime game, it's like everybody should be able to play 4 quarters solid.
There should be
and
no
then
reason why you shouldn't be
also
able to push
prepare
90
for
minutes.
that overtime. And like your training should never, or a game situation, or like at the end of the day during a rugby tournament, you should never go lay in a bed be like, that was the hardest physical thing I ever did. It should always be those training days,
Right.
where the Monday through Thursdays, where it's like, I'm smoked. I'm gonna go lay down in bed.
Yeah.
And like I'm absolutely smoked. But you should never once say that in a rugby weekend, a tournament weekend.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, train for the battle that you're gonna go fight. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it goes back to the military thing. It's like, well, we know war is hard. So do we want to just train to get prepared for that, or do we want to make our training harder for that, so that way when we get into that, and that's why we train as close to combat as we can, because you can't simulate combat there's no way to simulate combat.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to try to do the best you can, and then they do some like little fuck games. So little background for those that don't know, both of the guests here are Army vets, and then I'm also a Marine Corps vet. But like, you know what I mean? Like we overtrain and then there's the fuck games.
And then shenanigans
I
on
think
top of it. Yeah.
And that's
train
just,
hard,
that's,
party hard.
That's to raise your stress level. So like the sleep deprivation they put you through, it's like
so you
it's to try to simulate that stressful environment.
You do your security guard, and then you're on your little rest bed, your 4 hours or whatever, and someone throws in an MRE bomb.
Oh God,
it's just kind of what it is.
That brings me back.
Breaks your sleep up. It is.
The first time I heard of an MRE bomb, I was still a civilian, and I was visiting my dad's family, my real dad's family in Fresno, and my cousin married a Filipino dude who went into the Army. I think he was in a reserve unit, but he was making an MRE bomb in the backyard, and we were like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh yeah, it's something we learned how to do in boot camp. And I'm thinking this is like some high-speed operator shit. Like, this is like a makeshift like
straight
pepper
MacGyver
bomb.
bullshit.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, I really am fascinated with the military, and I ended up enlisting like 6 months after that. It wasn't just because of that story.
It was the MRE bomb that made you enlist.
That kind of contributed to the whole thing. Yeah, no, it was kind of interesting.
It was between that and the Army whoopee, right?
John, I know a little bit about Rob's like military history, but I don't know anything about yours. What years did you serve?
I went in 2005 and I got out 2011.
Was that like right after high school? Like were you 18 or
18?
What was your you guys call it an MOS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 11 Bravo, so I was infantry.
Oh, okay, 11 bang bang.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I got a year in Iraq, a little over a year actually.
What year was that?
2006, and we got back 2007. So It wasn't. It was a pretty interesting tour. We took over a power plant that it was a Russian power plant that the insurgents were using as a stronghold.
This is outside of Baghdad? Or?
Yeah, just about about 20 minutes outside Baghdad, right on the Euphrates.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we were noticing that all of the insurgents were coming from the other side of the Euphrates. So we were doing a lot of air assault missions over there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good shit. And Rob, well, I mean, I don't know if we talked about it on the last episode about any of your military exploits.
I don't really think so.
Yeah, you were in the invasion.
I was in the initial invasion in 03.
Couple footsteps behind fucking Mr. Noah Courier.
Yeah, I was with the 18th Airborne Corps, or I'm sorry, I was with Air Defense Artillery. So
Yeah, I've been thinking about how I want to kind of like do some more like creative projects and stuff. And I think I don't know if you listen to like any Dan Carlin podcasts, but he does a series called Hardcore History, where he'll take a subject and do like a 7-8 part mini series, and each episode's like 3 hours long, and he'll talk about like World War I or like Genghis Khan, but like break it down and talk. And I was thinking about, and I've talked with Noah about doing this, but like we were talking about his invasion experience,
right,
because he has some crazy cool stories.
He does have some cool stories,
but it's not just like the war bang bang kind of stories. Like I was like, it'd be cool to hear the other stories, like the one he shared this afternoon about him with taking the shit on his birthday, and everyone fucking was like, "Oh shit, gas."
You know, and
You
it
know,
probably
like,
wasn't more than a couple days after that I had almost similar experience, except for we had a huge friggin' dust storm instead. You know.
Oh yeah. There was that huge dust storm it delayed the invasion.
It
by
was
a couple days.
Yeah, it was after the invasion had initiated,
but then they got bogged down.
Right.
Yeah, was. I've read books about it where it was like it pretty much slowed it down by like 3-4 days.
Yeah, and you fast forward, you know, a few years up, and when I was in Iraq in 06, 07, I had found out that I was literally 400 meters from Saddam before he was executed.
While he was still hiding?
Yeah, no, he was imprisoned before his execution.
I actually had a guy on my podcast a couple episodes ago. We went diving together in Mexico, and he was an MP.
Okay.
And got to handle Saddam during the trials and shit.
Oh, well, then we were probably on the same base then.
This was So
because I was there during his
the trial and everything.
During his trial.
That must.
And then right before his execution, Rebecca actually, me and her were on Yahoo chat, and she was like, "Didn't you hear?"
You know what was crazy was that that video got leaked out.
Right.
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, yeah, you're going to, you know. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, to hell with the guy.
I mean, honestly though, if you've seen the video, it doesn't really look like he died. I mean,
oh, you don't think he's dead?
I don't know. I mean,
it's
like
video.
Michael Jackson.
Are you a tinfoil guy?
I don't know. Is Michael Jackson dead?
Michael Jackson is 100% dead.
Are we sure?
I don't know.
Now.
I mean,
no. Is
Jackson?
Is Jeffrey Epstein dead?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
There's a lot of theories about that.
That's.
There's the whole like maybe he just got offed, like voluntarily suicided.
Oh well, that's
involuntarily suicided,
that's for sure.
And then or is he just still alive, just living it up, still diddling kids, diddling and peddling. Horrible fucking human being. So, anyways, that was a nice little.
Went down a rabbit hole there.
Let's talk about rugby and this upcoming season. What are your guys' like goals? Let's start with what are your team goals, and then what are your individual goals?
Well, for team goals, I'm hoping that we get our communication down and we start vocalizing more on the court. a lot of us, I mean, especially like me, I'm not aware of all the code names that we use, and I still need to learn a lot about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
remember that stuff. Yeah.
Like what our call sign is for like
Yeah.
dropping in the key, and yeah, I got you.
And then I would say personally, I want to get back down to the basics and make sure that I'm keeping track of how, when it's time to dribble and, following my picks as I'm going down the court, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looking for my passes, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, those are all things. I mean, those are reasonable expectations.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think for me, I mean, honestly, just get team dynamics down. I mean, we got a great, some great new lineups coming out with all our deuces and 2-5s, 1-5s coming out. So getting those guys, some play time and getting them the mesh, I think would be really good. And then, yeah, I mean, personal goals, I mean, would be kind of, getting my explanations of what I need on the court from people, and what I'd like to see on the court from people.
So more like personal communication.
Yeah, personal communication skills would be better.
Yeah. Those are two. I mean, or four. Definitely reasonable goals, and I definitely like those answers because so oftentimes you kind of get lost in the end game where it's like, yeah, our goal is to win D2 championship. And it's like, well, come on, guys. Like,
You got to start somewhere. You got to start the basics.
Let's be realistic. And I'll tell you guys both off the bat right now, we don't have what it takes at the moment to win a D2 championship. So if that's the expectation, like, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to bullshit you. But what I think we can do is I think we can certainly qualify for nationals. And I would like to see us finish in the top 4. I think we have the team for it. Yeah, we have all the right pieces to do that. And I feel like that's a reasonable, achievable goal. I'm not going to bullshit you about
the way our roster, or not the roster, but our how many tournaments are lined up for us going on, and how much play time we're going to get in. By the time nationals come, we should have a lot of we should have figured a lot of things out as a team, and as far as like the communication and everything.
It's a long season, and like I don't know how like quote like the locker room was, but I would imagine and I would hope that it was still a positive atmosphere despite not winning a single game. Like, I would hope that nobody got chippy with each other.
I mean, honestly, we had a hard time in Chicago, right? And I think maybe that was come to some of the way we split teams down the middle. We put some guys on one team that might have worked better if they had been put with other people on the other team. Well, but I mean, we came back out in New York, and honestly, we took 3rd overall.
No shame in that.
First in the U.S.
So it was Toronto and
Ontario, and then Oscar Mike.
Okay.
So I mean, I think we did an excellent job.
Then the Canadian teams, like, people kind of overlook them
and
sometimes.
they were fully rounded. I mean,
a fully rostered Canadian club team.
Not only did they had 4 national Canadian players, but they also had a Colombian national player.
Oh yeah, who's out here?
They brought in a Deuce from Colombia.
Which one?
You had played with him. He couldn't speak very good English.
Does he describe his hair?
He was. I'm gonna try to think.
Side shaved, kind of a top, like.
He was a Deuce that had no arms, that could had full trunk.
No arms and full trunk, dude.
And every time we hit his chair, his wheel popped off.
Yeah, man. Some of their equipment. Don't laugh, dude.
No, I didn't feel bad. He bought his equipment.
Oh, that's like
secondhand.
third hand.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck? Why are you laughing at that?
No. I felt bad for this dude.
Mr. Just brand new.
No, I kept on calling
titanium chair.
I kept calling equipment for the guy.
You just were laughing at him, dude.
I see his axle pulled out, and you
fucking dirtbag, dude.
Yeah, you call it.
Jesus. One of the best things that with the tournament in Chicago though is at the end, Dave was telling us, he's like, you all should be really happy with this because everything you guys did, you guys were doing right. The things that we were messing up on was our passing game was a little off, and that was causing a lot of the turnovers. But he's like, you guys were in the right places at the right time. You guys were, you guys knew where each other were when you were, going to throw your passes. He's like, you need to slow down and think about your pass before you throw that ball up. Make sure if you're going to throw that ball, you're dedicating your life to that ball and getting it to where it needs to be.
Well, and that showed out back into that New York tournament. We came back out as a full squad, and all those plays were right there. Everyone was running, the sideline, kind of spreading the court, and making those passes out into the middle of the court. So,
No,
that clinic definitely.
I honestly think you got to look at the Chicago tournament like that was kind of your just first kind of dry run, get together, have fun, figure out how this thing's gonna work, and then New York, like it's like, all right, let's keep building from here. Yeah. And then we got New Hampshire coming up, and then we got Houston, excuse me. We got Houston, and that's going to be kind of the end of the year. But then once January rolls around, and I'm actually thinking about going down to Florida for that entire month because it's going to be 2 big tournaments, and then I'm doing a marathon, and then we got like another tournament. Then we're looking at like Birmingham. So like that little January to mid-February stretch, it's going to just be bang, 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 grind, like figure out all the things like communications, expectations, like, and then learning when to, yank certain guys and like, all right, we're going to pull so-and-so out to give him a rest. Save him for the fourth. Like we're gonna have to do a really good job of managing the bench.
And honestly, I have to tip my hat off to Ryan because he was doing a really good job of not only being that playing coach, but he was pulling himself off the court.
Yeah,
he was getting our deuces in.
It's not easy to manage a game as a player coach, like because you're so focused on your role, which is going to consume
the play.
90% of your bandwidth, and then you got a 10% coach the other.
Right.
It's like, oh, fuck. Like it's incredibly hard to do that. I mean, I've done it before, and it was definitely a challenge. Yeah. So, no, I'm looking forward to playing with you guys, man. Like,
I'm just really excited for this season and being a part of the militia.
It's like the rugby side of things on the house. I'll still hang out and do it, but the best part is just, nights like tonight when we get together, we fucking just ordered some, Bravos and destroyed some pizza. Yeah. And now we're,
some fried ravioli.
There's some adult beverages, and we're just fucking gonna have a good time. We got, actually, by the time this airs, the ball will have already happened. But we got the ball tomorrow. So we're looking forward to just going out there and getting all fancied up. Night. Yeah, getting all fancied up and.
Yeah, I'm excited for the casino room. Carol was telling me that there's a casino room this year at the ball, so that's gonna be fun.
I heard about that.
Yeah, she's saying something like, it's like $20 to get in, and they give you a Oscar Mike like poker chip, and then you guys play with funny money, the rest of the night.
Yeah, and this is Texas Hold'em.
She was saying craps, blackjack, and I think they're going to have a poker table, too.
Ooh,
if they're going to have a poker table, me and Tim are in trouble. Someone's losing some money, and that's not going to be me.
Yeah, I was bred to play poker, like, from...
I'll take your money, then.
Are you a poker player?
Yeah.
Nice.
In that case...
we have chips here, guys.
Hey,
I got money. I got money in my pockets.
You do?
Outside.
I can take it from you.
It's not fair. You just want to give it to me now,
Yeah.
You guys do have to realize I lived in Vegas for 2 years and played poker.
That makes you a seasoned player.
I played poker.
Do you still live in Vegas? Do you still live in Vegas?
You need to understand how many hours.
Tim, do you still live in Vegas?
You need to understand how many hours of the day I would be in the poker room playing poker.
Is that a no, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to play with you any day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can cut this podcast early and go fucking play some money.
Y'all heard it here.
Okay. Well, apparently after this, we're going to go downstairs and play some poker.
Tim's losing some money.
All right, buddy. You name the stakes.
Well, you gotta make it. You gotta make the stakes. Do 1, 2, and let's have some fun with it.
1, 2.
But no limit. You know what I mean?
Change.
But no limit.
I was thinking like
this guy.
I don't know. 2-4 at least, you cheap
2,
bastards.
4. All right. I could do 2, 4.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking cheap bastards.
400.
Oh, yeah, we can do that as long as you let me
2 hands
adopt
later,
Jaden after you can't afford fucking to raise a teenager anymore.
Well, I already can't afford to raise a teenager. I mean, I have 2
By the
of
end
them.
of the night, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now.
Have you guys raised a teenager?
Let me tell you something right now. By the end of the night, there's gonna be pink slips exchanging hands. Somebody's gonna lose their vehicle, their means of transportation.
Hopefully,
I could
it's
use a new
John
van.
going
I'll
into
tell you
Rob's
that.
hands.
I'll tell you that right now.
I could use a new van right now.
I got a fucking fresh pole barn that will fit.
I don't know
both
who
of
you're
your
getting a
guys'
van
vehicles.
out of, but it's
I
not
got
neither one of us.
both of your guys' vehicles. I will take that old man Buick or whatever that is that you have, and I'll take the Ford Flex is cool. I'll take the Ford Flex.
I like the shit talk.
Yeah,
I love
I'll
shit
take
talk.
that Ford Flex right off your hands. That'll be my fucking gambler rig for next year.
Yeah, I keep on telling
yeah.
Becca to, we'll put a Nerf bumper on the front and make it a gambler.
I'll put fucking Raptor suspension on that thing.
Speaking of gamblers, dude, what's about this this mini out front of the headquarters?
Did you go to headquarters yet, John?
I have, but I didn't see a
You remember?
mini.
It's around the back. But
Okay.
you remember Aaron's old Mini, the red one that he drove around?
Vaguely.
There's something up with it, but it needs to get fixed. So some money needs to get thrown into it. But I think Rob and I were talking about doing the Illinois Gambler,
Chop
which
top
is
it.
the Gambler. I don't know if you know what it is. It's
No.
it's the big rally race that I did back in June.
Okay. All right.
But it's essentially what it started as was a navigational challenge. It's like a rally race through fire service roads and like off dirt roads.
Right.
And the thing was, they call it the 500 because your vehicle couldn't be valued more than $500. So now it's kind of evolved where people will take like limos and lift them up, or like a hearse and fucking put a 12-inch lift on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean,
okay,
there was
all right.
people that took
67
like
Mustang.
They put like 67 Mustangs on like 33-inch mud tires.
Oh, jeez.
They just do. It's like the way I describe it. It's like Mad Max meets Burning Man, and it's just a good time. It's not a race, so it's just getting it. So now the challenge is like you go. Originally, it started in Oregon, so you go from Portland to a small town in Central Oregon, about 240 miles away.
Okay.
But the idea is you can only take dirt roads to get there.
Side note, easy thing is if we do get that mini in there, we totally fit it into one of our toy haulers.
We can fit 2 for sure. No, you wouldn't want to do the whole toy hauler route. I'd rather. And
I'm gonna go with the
so
RV.
the gambler blew up, and now almost every state has them. There's one in like Iceland.
Okay.
It's just,
all right.
It's just a fucking good time. It's just the spirit of the race is just so much fun.
Wow.
But yeah,
I'd
we
like to
have
see
that
Like
mini,
to see that.
and we were just talking about just jeeping it out,
Yeah, just
taking the doors off.
take the back 3/4 of it off, the roof off.
Definitely take the doors off.
Put a
Hilarious.
Baja
The big
roll bar
Oscar
on
Mike
it
logo
with
on the side.
with the big light
yeah,
bar.
if they're down, yeah. So yeah, let's start that. Let's start kind of fundraising for that because I
I'm
think
down
that'd be
with that.
a
That'd be
lot of
pretty
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Are you in a like? Because John, you're from outside of Raleigh. Still, or?
Right around Greenville area, ECU.
Okay.
Yeah, home of the Pirates. So
Oh,
North Carolina,
that's
yeah,
right,
yeah.
these Heat Pirates.
So, but yeah, they said NASCAR started there. I didn't know that at all until just
I
recently.
believe it. I've heard that. I've heard so it's conflicting because I've heard that, and it's also started in like somewhere buttfuck Tennessee. But I believe the NASCAR route because I got a good buddy from Jacksonville who is from North Carolina and is the biggest fucking
NASCAR fan.
stock car.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, he
it's-
watches Truck Series and everything. I'm just like, Man, I get
It was
it.
some moonshiners that were running
Yeah.
them liquor that
Yeah,
started
yeah.
the races. I mean, it really was. But
Yeah, and they were souping up their cars
Oh, yeah.
outrun the
Oh, yeah.
cop cars.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they race each other on the weekends to see who can go
Now,
faster.
here's what I can fuck with. Is back when NASCAR, it was a stock car. So it had to be a
it's
stock
stock-ish.
production car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a certain number that they had to run.
Right,
And that's
right.
why they made so many of those Plymouth Roadrunners.
Right.
Or those Superbirds or
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. They
I
had
used to love it when the Buick, was the fucking top
The
dog
Grand
in the
National?
fucking
Going with the Grand National. I looked at doing a gambler and just taking a Grand National and gambling it out.
Dude,
But I think what I really want to do is like a 72 El Camino up on like some 31-inch, mud tires.
Oh, man.
Get just
That'll be a sight.
Get a small little lift and just Mad Max it out. Like
That'd be pretty cool.
Get a roof rack with like lights and shit. Like
On the topic of racing though, I mean, like, have any of you guys been following Kara, our teammate, in her race?
A
that she's
little
been
yeah,
doing?
she had
Just on-
just finished her rally.
just on the Instagram. Yeah, I'm gonna get her on the show again, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
But-
I can't wait to hear about everything.
Yeah,
she's been going through. She said
she's
she
been
loves it.
doing some really cool shit. So stay tuned for that. Like, yeah, I'm extremely jealous. And
Yeah. Oh, talk,
I mean,
Talk
like,
about
yeah.
being jealous. Yeah,
well,
man.
you and I talked about on the last podcast about the Easter Jeep Safari, and if I don't get on that trip this year or next year,
Oh no, you
so-
will get on it next year because you're just gonna crash with me in my RV. So
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
whether you get invited with Oscar Mikey, you just crash the party is relevant,
Looking forward to that one, man, for sure.
right?
So
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one, dude. We've already gotten invited back out and got
Mhm.
a little slot to kind of
do
camp out at.
they like if you were to bring like a side by side, would they be cool with that? Or?
Oh yeah, I mean, as long as you can get it down the road and up and down the trails,
That might be
they're
my excuse
completely-
to finally like buy my side by side.
right. And I had thought about bringing my Razor out just to kind of get some more guys out, and so that way we can just get a couple more bodies out and up and down the trails.
Yeah, and I mean,
during the day.
if I think
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I might try to sell my toy hauler, but I think I'm gonna, if I still have it, I can bring it out. And
Well, it'd be a good-
Yeah, you could sleep. It's got 3 quad-friendly queen beds.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if nothing else, it'd be Rolling Hotel.
Yeah, I mean Moab's fucking an awesome town. There's
Dude,
there's so many hotels and accessibility. Like
Right.
I don't think it would be that much of a problem at all.
Right. I mean, those guys, dude, they were so awesome this year. I mean, really, they were gonna get us rooms, accessible rooms, but the closest they can get was, I think it was in Grand Junction, so it would have been
That's a drive.
a minute drive. Yeah,
A little bit of a drive.
but super good guys.
You ever been out to that part of the country?
I
like
haven't.
Utah.
I haven't.
Yeah, man, Utah is like
It's
it's a different planet.
it's like Mars.
It really is.
It really
Really?
is. Dude, it is. Mason kept on saying it's like aliens fucking built this place.
Yeah, especially from where he
it
grew
is,
up.
dude.
Well, especially from where he grew up.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
got green,
like,
and then everything
Yeah.
turns into rock and red rocks. Like
it's just,
everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything's
wow.
just red rock, sand, like dust
Yeah.
everywhere, and just
Yeah.
like, I mean, these stone pyres that are fucking.
Well,
100 feet
everywhere you
tall.
look is just gorgeous vistas
Yeah.
everywhere. I mean, you got mountain, white cap mountains from one side.
You know,
and you got-
and on that note, that's one of the other reasons why I'm really excited to be with the militia this year is because our team is going all over the place, for tournaments this year,
Mhm.
and so I'm gonna get to see and do a lot more than I've been able to do before with any of the other teams I played with. So,
Which tournament that's like kind of announced on the schedule you're most looking forward to?
well, I'm really hoping to get the Puerto Rico tournament if we get there.
Puerto Rico
If we
definitely
get there.
should happen. We've been
If we
talking about
can't
it.
have a clinic in Puerto Rico, I might just cry.
Well, do you remember?
I mean, honestly.
Do you remember back in 2009 when we first met and they were talking about doing the vet games?
Oh, dude, we've been talking about Puerto Rico ever since I've been in a wheelchair.
Ever since I've been in the system.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like-
Every year is next year is going to be
It's
Puerto
gonna-
Rico.
yeah,
Next
it's-
year is going to be Puerto Rico.
And there was that one year where they boycotted the games because they had it and then they got it taken away.
Is that I think that might have been
and
the
Puerto
year I
Rico?
first
There was
started.
I think there was only 2 Puerto Ricans that were like, wait, no, we're not gonna skip the games. But like for the
Jose.
Jose was one of them. But for the majority of them, and usually the Puerto Ricans, they're the best ones there. Besides the UK crowd is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the UK vets that come over and play with us. That's pretty cool. But the Puerto Ricans, I mean, you know exactly where they are because they group together. They got the fucking drums going. They got
Yeah.
their chants. Like
Yep.
they're the loudest fucking fans. And then like when they announce them at the opening ceremony,
the opening
like,
ceremony is what I'm
you
thinking
know
about.
who the fuck is coming in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Puerto Rico's here, and they
Yeah,
get,
that would be super cool just to see the Puerto Rican fans in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine
Uh,
how loud it would be inside that stadium?
I can because I've played in like South America and like in front of like Colombians and like Argentinians and like they get so into it. They really
yeah.
do. Yeah,
that would be
I'd only
awesome.
ever seen that in like Japan. Japan they bring like middle school and grade school kids.
I was gonna say,
and they get really into it too. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, we need to like figure out how to reach because I feel like kids would be into watching a bunch of crippled dudes beating each other up in chairs.
Right? Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
But it's the U.S. audience is sad. Although I will say this, like the crowds that we get at like the vet games are some of the loudest that I've heard in the U.S.
Well, I mean, I think that it helps out is we go and reach out to those communities that we go into, and we try to bring in those disabled individuals from those communities
Yeah.
to kind of help out and like just raise that awareness that that
Well,
there's
you know
more
what?
that
What really helps, I think, with spectators is there's if you did your research, you would probably find that like if that team had a connection or a correlation with the local rugby team, like the actual able-bodied rugby team,
right.
that their fans and like the people that are going and watching these tournaments, because the tournaments, we don't charge people to go see the tournaments, they're free. It's just about getting the exposure out there. And it seems like if you get connected with the rugby crew, one of those rugby players might tell 5 of his buddies, and now they're interested in coming, and now you got a good little cheering section.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's I'd really like to see that tournament happen or clinic happen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, my point that I was trying to make was I think we should try to reach out for a rugby team here, or even like a women's rugby team. I mean, the Las Vegas Slots, the women's rugby team in Las Vegas, they were one of our biggest supporters when I was playing for Vegas.
Awesome.
And then we had a kind of a little relationship with the Birmingham Valkyries, which was kind of I think they were intergender or a co-branded team, but they were in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
So I mean, there's got to be a
I mean, if
rugby
nothing
team.
else, we got a couple. There's got to be a couple of college club teams or something.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Yeah.
And then even reaching out to the like the physical therapy and occupational therapy schools that are around here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would love to come out and see us
I
do
would-
things
I
that they
wish-
couldn't even imagine us doing.
I wish they would.
Every time you turn around, an OT or PT, you're going, you guys are really doing that?
You guys are quadriplegics?
Are you sure
Yeah.
that's safe?
Yeah, they always want you to, do you guys wear
Do you
helmets?
wear a helmet?
Yep. Yeah, that's the number one question.
Would you continue to play rugby if they required a helmet?
It depends.
You know what?
Is
love
behind
rugby.
the axle spins
It's like a lacrosse
legal?
helmet. If you're wearing a helmet, then spin should be
Then yes.
legal. In my opinion.
Then yes.
I
Because
think it'd be
that
more,
means-
way more aggressive than we already have it now.
Rodeo would get a whole lot more spins.
I don't
Those
think
guys,
it-
those 3.5s
honestly-
will be getting hit from the back a lot harder now.
Oh, if we allowed spins.
Yeah.
Or
With helmets.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
if you allowed helmets and you legalized hits behind the axle, yeah, I'd wear a helmet.
We'd have to rename the sport to be murder ball again then.
We'd have to, yeah.
Yeah, but
Definitely.
I mean, we
would
just
revert back
re-allow
to murder ball.
quads. Yeah.
Yeah. But you mentioned that like Japan, they bring the kids, like, you know, the schools and stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for like the cheering sections. And I think that's a great idea because, you know, I think that's one thing that in the U.S. that we don't do enough is show our younger kids, you know, that you know, hey, we're in wheelchairs, but yet, you know, we still do things. We're you know, we're not fragile. It's okay to look and talk to us and stuff.
Yeah.
And they over there, they expose them to all this stuff, so that way it's not a stigmata that they have against us. You know, as they get older, don't look at them, you know, when they're in the wheelchair.
Yeah, because that's kind of my only interaction with like children that I don't know is like when I'm at like the grocery store or at like the mall or something, and it's like obviously this, you know, 6-year-old girl staring, like fascinated with the wheelchair, or they get in the elevator with me and they're fascinated with the wheelchair.
Yeah.
But like they don't want to engage because
Or their parents are, you know,
Their
don't
parents-
look.
They're
don't
fine
look.
with
Their
it. It's their
parents are-
parents saying
their
that
parents,
they can't
yeah,
look at
the
you.
parents are like, just shh,
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
look at that person.
because usually when I see like some, I do this at the airport all the time. Like I'll see like a 3 or 4-year-old in a stroller, and then we get in the same elevator together, and I'm like, "Hey, sweet wheels, man."
or the classic, you want to race?
Yeah, you ready to race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hate that shit, dude. I was like, because I'm competitive, and
I do that.
I'm gonna beat you.
Well, I only do that with the old people that I know I can really win.
Oh, and I play for Pinks, so I'm
Yeah.
like, hey,
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
take
have to get that chair up now.
the airport ride.
I'm gonna use that one from now on.
The airport ride, I like bumming. I like hanging on to the back, like catching up to one of them and just hanging on to the
Oh,
back.
there you go.
Like,
That's a good one.
I never took advantage of that service though. A couple times I wish I would have. Dude, speaking of like airports and shit like that, like I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your Amsterdam experience.
Okay. Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun, dude. Yeah, I honestly have to say I like European security.
Women.
Oh, well, European women are awesome. My
Security.
Gonna put that out there.
security. Yeah, no, European security is a whole lot easier and nicer to go
Oh, you're
through
talking about airport
than it is
travel.
TSA. I mean, honestly.
Oh, TSA is a grope fest, dude.
It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. Like, I mean, like.
That's why I went on that TSA pre.
TSA almost. I
Yeah.
have TSA pre-check
You
too.
get TSA
and I kind
pre
of I
for
kind of like it, you know.
service connected vet. So.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't even know service.
Yeah, I didn't. I found out
I-
after I
I-
paid for it.
I paid for
but
it.
you can also get. I think you can bump that and get global entry now.
Maybe
so.
I can get next.
wow.
Oh, I did it for 2 years, so maybe I can get.
Yeah,
next
TSA
year, I'll
pre
just
is the
bump it
shit.
up.
Like if you travel more, I'd say like if you travel like once a month,
It is
it's
super
it's
helpful.
worth it, especially if you travel with a laptop. 'cause
Or
then
you
don't
have
to
any
take it out of your
tight
bag.
connections ever? I mean, you swap your hands and you swap your feet. They pat your cushion down and you're out. of there.
Get on your way.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to worry about them.
On my way here, I had my backpack, my Go Rock with all my podcast equipment and shit, and it popped up on something on the X-ray, and they wanted to go look at it, and the fucking guy, like I'm sitting there doing the TSA pre with another dude, different dudes grabbing the backpack, and he's like started trying to go through it and realized how heavy it was, and was just like, he's TSA pre? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, man, I'm not gonna fuck with it. And he like zipped up my shit and was like,
They don't even care. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you get that little bit of security screening, and they're kind of like.
It was like a 20
ahead,
minute.
get
It
outta
was like a
here.
20-minute interview. It didn't take that long at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I
you
mean-
just got to show up to a spot, and for you, they might have one in Greenville. You might have to drive somewhere for it, but they might do it at the airport too. There's some places.
Well,
Yeah,
I
no.
normally fly out of Raleigh, and the airport there is so
Raleigh-
small that
I bet you
going
they
through
do it at
security
the
is like
airport.
nothing.
Oh, okay.
Well, so what's nice about it is when you're coming back.
Yeah.
So like if you're flying into Raleigh from anywhere else,
leaving O'Hare or Houston,
Denver.
That's where I'm running into problems.
Yeah. Those places that take you 45 minutes to get through security.
Yeah.
This now takes you literally 5 minutes. You put your stuff on the belt to get X-rayed, and by the time it gets on the other side of X-ray, you've already been swabbed and cleared.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's quick.
It's a quick process. No dude's rubbing up on your dick or anything.
Yeah. So to speak of that, on our way out to,
are you pussies drinking?
I am.
Yep.
I am.
Slowly but surely.
Continue your story.
On our way out to Amsterdam, actually, I stayed with Ryan Lindstrom. And I don't know what he's got in his yard or whatever it was. I must have popped up their little scanner like 3 or 4 times. So I got my own little private screening, even though I had pre-check. And
I've had to do that before.
I mean, it was quick. It was easy. Those guys were really cool about it.
I had to show my dick to a guy, so I was like,
I mean, they did a pat down. It is what it is. I mean, stuff happens, but I mean, like I said, they were still pretty cool about it. But going back to like the European side, if you go, when you go in, after you get your ticket, you go check in. You have to make sure you check in with, I guess, handicap services. So they kind of escort you around to get you onto the plane from the jetway. It's kind of a little bit different than U.S. services where you have to wait, till you get to the gateway, and then you have you guys arrived in Amsterdam, but you did shit other than just play rugby. Like, how was how would you rate like the accessibility scale of Amsterdam? Dude, it's pretty good. I mean, I've been places in states that it's been less accessible.
Yeah.
I think I've been to Pittsburgh. The city in Pittsburgh is less accessible.
Did you go to that Harry Potter museum or whatever?
I didn't do the Harry Potter thing.
Chris Hall did.
But Chris Hall did do it.
They were saying it was phenomenal.
Yeah, Chris and Ash.
That's in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose there.
No, it was in London.
London. Oh yeah.
London, England.
That
so
makes more sense.
We had gotten to Amsterdam and we just dropped our rugby stuff off with in the airport and put it in storage for 3 or 4 days and kind of
I've done that. I've done that before.
Little touristy thing, and it was only like a $60 flight for both me and Rebecca to
What
get
other
out to
What other
England.
Places did you guys visit on this trip?
We only visited London, other than Amsterdam. After the tournament, we kind of.
For some reason, I thought you went to Germany.
We did end up in Frankfurt. It was through a layover that ended up we had missed our flight out. So
Purposely, so you could
we had I wish we had like an hour layover in between our flight from Amsterdam to Germany and back to the States, and there just wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
Even if flights were on time, they had gotten us off in the middle of the jetway and put us on a bus. It was like a 20-minute bus ride from the plane to the terminal, and then another 15-minute ride from the terminal back to another plane.
Were you in your everyday during this, or just in one of their chairs?
And I was on an aisle chair and then into my everyday.
Oh, okay.
So luckily, I wasn't stuck in an aisle chair the whole time.
Dude, I've been stuck in an airport chair before.
Yeah.
And it's the most horrible feeling. You're just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, my chair is tagged. Like, bring it up to the fucking gate. Like, I'm gonna get into it because I don't want to sit in your fucking shitty ass chair.
Yeah, that happened to me at O'Hare one time. They instead of taking my chair out and bringing it up to that ramp, what do they call it, jetway or whatever?
The jet bridge.
Yeah, they put it with the luggage, and so they had to pick me up with one of the. It was like a regular hospital.
Your destination was O'Hare, though.
Yeah, so I landed there. I was like, man.
So there was one time where I was flying home from Birmingham, and I had my connection in O'Hare, but they took my chair and put it onto the next plane.
Oh no!
And so I got the aisle chair people were late. I might have talked about this on a past podcast, but I'm gonna say the story again anyway, so you can hear.
Yeah.
But like So the aisle chair people show up late. It's already a tight connection, and they were like, yeah, your chair's already on the other plane, like it's already headed over the other plane. And I was like, well, my connection's tight, like we got to get going. So I hop in their little chair that they have to push me through. But,
Yeah.
you know, I had just gotten from Birmingham to Chicago, and I was like, well, I got to go to the bathroom. So they pushed me into the family room, and it's like they can get me next to the toilet, but now I can't move anywhere. So I was like, well, you're going to have to just put me right by the door, and I'll just knock when I'm ready. And so I do my thing, knock when I'm ready. She pushes me. We finally get to the gate, but we show up late because they were late, and then it was like, you know, we had to change terminals and all that shit and go through the fucking tunnel.
Right.
And so I get to the gate, and the plane, they're about to pull the jet bridge, and I was like, wait a minute, hang on, I'm supposed to be on that plane. They were like, oh yeah, we called final boarding and we gave your seat away to a standby passenger. And I was like, well, when's the next flight? And she's like, well, it's in like 3.5 hours. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, my chair's on that plane, and I can't sit in this thing for that long.
Yeah.
And she was like,
What ended up happening?
well, I'm gonna get to it.
Like, I'm just like,
So she was
What?
like, yeah, they're pulling the bridge. Like, the plane's ready to back up and take off. And I was like, okay, so two things are gonna happen. Like, either you're gonna put that bridge back on, you're gonna pull that standby passenger off, you're gonna get me on that plane, or you're gonna pull my chair off of it. And at that point, she had noticed the USMC tattoo on my shin. She was like, wait, are you a veteran? And I was like, yes. And she, this was like a week after, remember when they drugged that Asian dude off the plane? Do you remember that whole story?
Really?
When United,
Yeah.
This was like a week after that. And I was like, listen, like, I don't normally like pull this card, but I was like, if you make me sit in this airport in this chair for 3.5 hours, like, we're gonna have news crews here. Like, and at that point I was like, I just want my chair, you know, like, fucking, I'll wait for the next flight, but like, just give me my chair, give me my independence, give me my legs back, like, give me my independence back.
Yeah.
And I felt bad, you know, because what ended up happening was they pulled the plane back, put the bridge back on, and they had to take that passenger off, and he was
Livid, probably, right?
Pissed.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Well,
Just
I mean,
pissed. It wasn't his seat to begin with.
If anything else, he was standby. I mean, he's got to
wasn't
realize.
his
Wow.
seat to begin with.
He
it
was
was a
standby.
shitty thing. I felt like shit. You know, I wasn't proud of it, but
He almost got lucky.
I just wanted my chair, man, to be honest. I was like, I don't care. I'll fucking hang out. And, you know, I think it was like Sunday. I was like, I'll fucking hang out and watch football. Like, I don't give a fuck.
You know, I mean, we got to Denver on Sunday from New York, and friggin' they left my chair underneath, and then it took 10 minutes for them to get them, you know, out and back up to the jetway. And by the time they got it up there,
I don't understand how that happens.
they didn't have an aisle chair. And once they finally found an aisle chair, they didn't have anyone to put me into the aisle chair.
And for Denver, for as big as that airport
In
is.
Denver. Yeah. And they knew I was coming into Denver. They knew I was the last flight. I mean, at midnight, you can't tell me you can't find 2 priority agents to get someone into an aisle chair.
Nonetheless, find an aisle chair, like.
Well, and the fact that you can't have an aisle chair ready at
Right.
midnight.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's not like, you know, Denver's, you know, that big of a hub that, you know, it's only half the airport's going. The whole southwest side, you know, shuts down.
Right.
Yeah, but Denver
So-
should be prepared for that kind of shit.
Exactly.
For as big as they
Yeah,
are.
and
they're like
that
a
happens.
United hub.
Well, and that happens on a regular basis, and I think that's part of the airport's problem with falling into letting priority, you know, take care of those slots.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but like the bigger airports are always the airports that I have the most problems with. The smaller airports, they're on point, you know.
Yeah, I always have. I mean, the United folks this time, they were I'd say probably 8 minutes late. You know, I was just sitting on the plane watching fucking ESPN, just like, you guys gonna show up? Because I got fucking shit to do. My ride's waiting for me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's get things going. And then sometimes Atlanta's gotten better, but Atlanta used to be pretty bad back in the day. But no, you're right. Like the small airports, like Birmingham, never a problem.
How many times have you had the priority or the accessibility bathroom stripped away by
In the airport,
an airport agent?
all the time.
Yeah.
It's normally a dude with a rolling luggage,
Yes.
but it has happened before.
Leaving O'Hara, I had a priority agent say that she needed to use the bathroom over me because she only had like 10 minutes left on her break.
Oh, you're talking about the personal. I'm talking about the accessible stall.
Oh yeah, no, that single bathroom.
No, yeah, you're talking about the single bathroom.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those ones are fun.
Yeah, it's not even considered a bathroom. They call they what do they consider it? An attendant family room.
Yeah. You know, and that's why I always kind of like supported. That's funny because you're from North Carolina, but I always supported the whole transgender bathroom thing because I was like, well, yeah, maybe it should be required. You should have at least one bathroom that's like transgender, wheelchair accessible, baby fucking feeding room or whatever. But like have your male room, have your female room, and then have that fucking all-encompassing private stall room. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm down with that.
And like whatever, let the transgender people use it. Let fucking.
I mean, really, it should be open to whoever needs it. But I mean, honestly, the priority agent, the one that's getting us on the airplane, doesn't.
How do you
need to be
know?
one
How do you know
using
he
it.
didn't have like depression and that he needed it?
Because she said she had 5 minutes left or 10 minutes left. for
That
her
could have
break.
just been something like someone with depression would say.
Yeah, I guess it could have been.
You know?
You're a horrible person.
And also,
I
did
am
you
that
did you just
person.
assume her identity?
Yeah.
I could have.
Fucking redneck motherfucker.
I'm
with it.
sorry.
I mean, I expected this out of the North Carolinian.
Whoa. I'm originally from
I-
Chicago, so come on now.
But you've lived there long enough where if you were if you were that openly of a bigot, I would have been like, well, he's from North Carolina. But you, from Denver,
I am sorry.
you're more progressive than
You're
that.
right. You're
Jesus Christ, man.
No, I'll tell you what, as far as that goes,
right. That person was wrong. I'm sorry.
over the last year, I think my mind has opened up to a lot of things and understanding and trying to understand other people and their situations and being, regardless if you're transgender or if you're whatever,
Like a little bit more sympathy
yeah,
or sympathetic.
yeah. I started dating this girl who was a real big liberal and a big hippie, and she opened my eyes to a lot of things. So, yeah.
Good pussy will do that.
Yeah, that will definitely do it. We had some heated discussions when it came to politics, but we tried to keep that out of the bedroom.
I think also what it is like you're also growing and maturing.
As
And
a
I
person,
will also say
yeah.
this. Have you traveled more in that time period?
I have traveled a lot more. So
I think that has a direct effect on how you perceive the world and what you prioritize when it comes to
Broadening
Yeah, I
your
can
political
horizons.
issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I mean, growing up, man, I would consider myself kind of a staunch conservative growing up. And then, like, as I started kind of traveling more, I kind of became more libertarian with my views, where it's just like, I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing. Just, don't
Leave each other alone.
don't be a dick.
Be nice to each other.
The golden rule.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Is this Tim 2020? Is that what I heard earlier?
Yeah, there was a push for it.
I think you should put your name back in it.
I don't think there should be one president. Like, there should be just a panel of people, because how do you expect one person to do that job? successfully. And please, every motherfucker,
Well, I mean,
all 300 and whatever million of us.
We're already having a hard enough time with democracy, Tim. Try to change up democracy.
That was
I think it's an old.
I know. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it can't be fixed. I'm just saying like
that was the huge discussion with my girlfriend when I was talking about shit with her liberal views on things. I'm talking about like free healthcare and stuff like that, and when she was talking about like how we need to educate people, not imprisonate people and stuff like and that will help, the society when it comes to people on welfare and everything. And I was trying to explain to her that these are all great ideas and I'm all for it if we can do it. But the problem is our government. We got to fix the problem with the government first, and then we can get to all these other aspects.
Well,
fire them all.
Fire them all. Limits. I mean, the limits have to be set on Congress.
I 100% agree with that. Like, how is it that someone can be a career politician and make millions of dollars?
Yeah, exactly.
Holding a position of office where they can legislate, laws. And I mean, here's a great example that both of you guys are gonna love. Like, you guys have heard about like the vaping kind of epidemic thing. Like, people are dropping dead left and right from vaping, and there's already legislation where they're going to ban, flavored vape oils and all this stuff because it's like, oh, it's starting to kill people. And it's like, well, hey,
no one knows anything about any of it.
Listen, motherfucker, we have known that cigarettes has killed people for...
Absolutely.
We've known that for what, 40 years, 50 years?
Oh, yeah.
But yet it's still perfectly legal to fucking
and
go to
how many
the store.
people die from drinking alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
So,
I mean, how many every day?
Exactly.
But all of a sudden, vape, that's a big problem. And if you want to get
you can go to McDonald's and order friggin', a double quarter pounder with cheese
you and I just went to
kill
Culver's.
yourself all you want. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You and I just went to Culver's today.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how much influence do these lobbyists, like big tobacco?
At what point is our government going to tell us what we can and can't do?
Well, okay, that's a whole
there.
nother thing. But I'm saying, like, how much influence does the lobbyists have? Like big oil, big energy, big fucking tobacco.
A whole lot more than what
big
we really
pharma,
want. Yeah.
Insurance companies, like all those guys spend millions, if not billions of dollars to just kind of pad the pocket of these politicians. Yeah. And like at one point, you just got to be like, this isn't what the system was designed to do. Like,
exactly.
No, but our government allows it.
Well, because
we pad their pockets
because they're getting fed.
Yeah,
it's the American people that are allowing it, because if the American people stood up like they should,
our government says it's okay for lobbyists to be there, though.
In theory, we can. But when we vote in the people, and then it's all of a sudden they get that taste of that golden fucking well, and they just like, oh yeah, suck that shit up.
Well, I mean, if you could jump into a job where you can have complete say of someone's life and never get kicked out of that position, wouldn't you be in that position?
Are you accusing me of that?
No, I'm just saying if you had the choice. I mean,
I think so. There's what's called like the Lucifer effect, where it's like absolute power corrupts absolute.
Yeah, and I'm down with that 100%.
Yeah. So I've never been in that position, so I don't know, but I would like to think that
hopefully
I would make the right decision, but I've never been in those shoes. I've never handled that much money.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tim 2020, we can find out.
Don't be a dick. Tim 2020.
That's my campaign slogan. Just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, they were talking about, how amazing it would be to have a lady be president, but I think that'd be pretty cool if we finally got to the point where like someone in a wheelchair was president or something like that.
How we can have a president that's not a dick?
I'll give you that one.
I'm good with that one.
I'll be happy with the president's not a dick.
I'm cool with having a female president, a black president, a Latino, an Asian maybe, as long as they're not a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, it don't matter to me. The whole crippled politician thing, we're gonna get deep on this rabbit hole. But were either of you guys in Dallas for the vet games.
Yeah. Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
2015 maybe.
Yeah.
But the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is a paraplegic. He got injured in, I don't know, some fucking accident or something.
Yeah.
And I was
remember that.
thinking, okay, that's pretty cool. He's a fucking crippled politician.
Yeah.
But dude, I started digging into like his policies and even now like his stance on like marijuana and shit. I'm like, wait, you're a fucking tool. Like you should be for. Like, how are you crippled and against marijuana in Texas? Because he's a fucking hardcore Christian conservative.
Because he's all about opiates.
And it's like,
I bet you he's got pharmas.
that's what it is. Big
Pharma
pharma
is right in his pocket.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're telling me he doesn't fucking smoke no weed?
Well, he may not smoke any weed, but he sure does.
Pill popping.
Pop some pills.
Something.
Probably. Not gonna. I mean, allegedly. I mean, if there's any lawyers listening, allegedly, I did hear Greg Abbott actually mainlines fucking OxyContin. Yeah, that was just kind of a rumor I heard through the grapevine, but yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Cooks it up on a spoon.
He cooks it on his spoon.
That's just the rumor I heard, and I know some people in Texas that know some people.
Some friends in low places.
And in those fucking upper echelon rooms. You know? There's some backdoor shady ass deals. I really do feel that. Like the whole marijuana thing. I mean, prohibition's ending. We know that.
Yep.
Honestly,
how many years?
Honestly, I think
I would say within the next year we'll see a
Next
lot more
year?
states. Yeah.
Next year we're gonna see a lot more states. I'm talking federally.
Federally?
If Trump was smart, he'd fucking pull that card out.
Yeah.
Maybe in August-ish.
if nothing else, it might hurt the cartel.
It might.
Yeah, well,
It
that's
100% would.
It would definitely hurt the cartel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, there are so much.
The question is if it would hurt our government.
I give it
the cartel.
I give it one more election cycle. So if not by 2020, definitely by 2024.
It'll be definitely one of the top debates.
Federal,
Yep.
legal, because it's like,
Well, it hasn't.
What the fuck are we doing?
It's not.
Well,
It
we're so
has
worried
not come up
about,
federally at all, has it? Am I wrong? Like
there hasn't been a
complete.
debate.
That's what I'm saying.
I honestly like.
So
we can talk.
So by 2024, it'll probably be on a ballot at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there'll be enough states backing it where.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen when all 50 states
Oh yeah.
legalize it? Like, what
Yeah.
are you going to do?
Well, I don't know if all
Utah's-
50 states would ever legalize it, but
Utah's
there's
on
definitely-
board, and I thought Utah would be one of the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mississippi or Alabama now.
Yeah, Alabama definitely. Would
I thought
probably
Utah
be.
for sure was going to be one of the last ones.
Yeah.
You gotta
I was
work.
in
And
that one.
they're on board. I was like, well, okay.
I think Mormon church sees the monetary value in it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where we're
that's
talking about like
it, is
everyone's
to
worried
see
about
the
global
monetary
warming and stuff
value.
like that, but I mean, people don't realize like how much value you can get from like hemp and just cannabis. Period. I mean, fuels and energy and
Oh, yeah,
paper
dude,
products, and I
green-
mean, like, holy crap! There's the things you can do with it. The
Ethanol.
more you do the research on it, it's like that's what we're looking for to save the planet. It's like we need an alternative fuel source, alternative paper source.
Well, what
stuff
blows,
like that.
what really blows my mind, and I have friends like in the oil industry, and I get it.
Chronic.
No, the petroleum oil industry, dinosaur, fucking remains. And I get it. Like, you don't want to lose your job, and you don't have to fucking retrain and start over in another career. But one thing I don't get about oil is we know that there's a finite amount of oil on this earth, right?
Yeah.
There's only so much.
We've already passed over the half end of it.
Yeah, and we
we've
can't
used it
we
more
can't replace it as much as we consume it.
Right.
So we know eventually we're going to run out of oil. So why are we still continuing to drill and rely on oil when we know we need to figure out another solution? We need to figure out how to make solar work, how to make fucking wind power work.
I'm right there with you. I mean, shoot, I think they've got one of the bigger wells up in Canada that they're pulling out sludge
It doesn't
They
matter.
can't even really refine.
It does
and
not
get-
matter how many wells and stuff we find. We just know it takes millions of years to make that shit.
Well, true.
And we're burning it up literally.
Faster than we can.
There's fucking Chads out there that are rolling coal with their fucking Cummins. Like, we know there's a finite amount.
I love that
You know
term.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, I think electric is really popping up, but the problem, our biggest problem is that in this country we build electric by burning coal.
Well, I'll tell you the biggest problem with electric is all the rare minerals that's required to make like those batteries and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, find out where those things are coming from.
Oh yeah.
They're not in the U.S.
No, Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, Africa.
Oh yeah.
You look at all the
Yeah.
And you know,
it's crazy.
I've brought this up on the podcast before, where it's like, this is the most fucked up thing that's ever going to come out of my mouth. But the first world can't exist unless we exploit the third world.
We can't have our little personal
very interesting.
toys and have
You put
them
it that
at at a price that we could afford without putting someone else in
You have to do it.
complete
I mean,
poverty.
You want to have
Yeah.
have iPhones. You want to have fucking laptop computers, and
We have to have child.
it's gonna have to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess this is how we bring it back to Oscar Mike. Like, it's why it's important to support made in America products such as Oscar Mike.
Definitely.
OscarMike.org. But yeah, it's. I mean, all joking aside, like it is a really fucked up reality when you think about it, because you're like, well, yeah, I enjoy the life I have, but I also need to realize, like, I got a fucking lucky roll of the dice, and that, like, a lot of people in the world don't live like I do.
Oh yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
on the trip home, actually. From we were up at headquarters, and me, you, and Noah, we're like, we as veterans, service connected, have got like
We
We've
I
gotten
just
it good,
I described
Yeah.
it as
we are the Chads.
You
Well,
ever
the
call me a
Chads-
Chad again? I will flip you out of your fucking chair.
You could try.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah, okay. We know it's a long night, Rob. Not even midnight yet. It's gonna be a long night. All right.
Oh, I love you too.
Let's just leave it right there. It's your first fucking warning.
It's hilarious when low pointers fight.
No,
Settle down, children.
it is until it isn't. Tell you that. You're gonna have to get fucking broken leg tips from Mason when I'm
watch
done
out.
with you. All right.
Watch out.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. Being a combat disabled vet, and we get we're set.
My analogy is we're the top 1% of the
Yeah.
disabled community.
Yeah.
Because we have the financial freedom to do. I mean, like, okay, so not to get into too many details, but your girlfriend is paralyzed,
Right. She's
and a civilian.
Yeah.
So that presents a whole different challenges, and I
Absolutely.
imagine that you have learned a lot about, because I mean, I've never dated a crippled chick, civilian crippled chick at that, and like.
There's a lot of like what moments, because she'll tell me about like the chair that she got. It was fitted bad for her, and the way the insurance is, she's not gonna be able to get another chair for a couple
or
of years.
even just go get medical supplies.
And just medical supplies. She's a diabetic, so the insulin, it's so much harder and it's expensive, and it's just, oh man. As with working with the VA, I hear a lot of bad stuff, but you know what? I get my meds, I get my medical supplies I need, and I don't give them a hard time. I try to be as respectful when I'm with them, and I seem to get a positive response back, and I don't have any issues with my supplies and stuff.
There's frustrating moments. I mean, the one that I'm dealing with right now is I've been trying to schedule my annual and get a appointment to go see my PT so I can get put in for a hand cycle, you know, because I want to start hand cycling
Okay.
come starting spring. So like I need to see them now so that way I can get my hand cycle in time.
Right.
And they just have not been returning my phone calls or anything, and it's like just trying to put the pressure on them. But I know that once I get my foot in the door and that things start working, things are gonna be rolling. And I'm gonna get shit
gonna get that
bought
hand
for
cycle.
me that like most civilian cripples aren't gonna get. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why, like, okay, so by the time this podcast airs, I'm going to be in Paraguay, and that's why I'm going there to put on a wheelchair rugby clinic, and I'm also bringing a bunch of extra medical supplies, and different equipment, and like gloves and tape, and like even just like shit like catheters and all sorts of things, just because I feel like I owe it. I did nothing to deserve what I have now. So I'm always looking to like pay it forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, yeah, by the time the listeners are listening to this, like I'll actually be in the middle of my trip in Paraguay, like paying it forward and helping. And like, that's what I've kind of found that like, I just need to dedicate my life to. And that's what's going to keep me happy.
Not to,
and like to live like
interrupt
a fulfilling
you
life.
too much, Tim, but you did, you know.
You did do something
you did
to
do
deserve
something
it, right?
to deserve what you have. But
I honestly, the way that I look at it, no.
We all feel the same way, but I think, you know, if you really think about it deep down, I mean, you joined the military out of nothing more than, you know, the fact that you wanted to serve your country because of what you've done.
I understand that.
It's not that you've done nothing.
I guess
you know?
a better way to say it is like, I don't need to live an extravagant life.
Right.
So the excess that I have, I'm always trying to push it forward and help out where I can.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where the VA has sent me like things, they misorder something, and so I get something at my door and it's like, this isn't what we're supposed to get. And they're like, oh, well, just keep it, you know, and you know, or throw it away because we're not going to take it back. And I'll take that stuff and I'll go to a rugby tournament and, hey, does anyone need anything? And I'll just give it away because just someone who I know is going to use it, I'm not going to just throw that stuff away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold on to it, you know, knowing I'm never going to use it, you know, and just.
Dude, what blows my mind is that there's a black market for medical supplies.
Oh, yeah.
Like catheters,
catheters,
oscillatories.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a black market for it. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we live in one of the most resourceful countries in the world, and we can't even take care of our disabled.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, shit, like we need to do better. Like I go back and forth on the whole socialism thing, but I think there are certain public socialistic things that we need to make sure that we're taking care of.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not give everybody a fucking handout, but like the elderly and the disabled.
Oh, dude, I mean, honestly, like I had seen this civilian, you know, urologist, and I had this procedure done, and he knew that I was on Medicare, and because I was on Medicare, they had ordered me catheters, but he was like, you know what, don't worry about it. You can reuse them. And like, what? I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's because the doctor knew that, you know, most of his patients were on Medicare and they couldn't afford catheters.
Okay.
Dude, I know a guy who would get a box.
Crazy.
A guy that would get a box a month and was expected to use one catheter a day.
I don't know who only goes pee once a day, but I mean,
nobody.
I've heard of
ever
people
met.
boiling catheters to clean them and sterilize them, but that's, I mean, even when I had sterile catheters every single time, you know, like a fresh one, I still was getting UTIs when I first, you know, got injured every month and everything. So I couldn't imagine going through that process and risking the chance of getting, you know, bladder infections so easily. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I've done? And I better knock on wood, but like I haven't gotten a UTI in a while. And what I started doing was carrying around hand sanitizer.
You know, I've talked to a few quads over the last since this summer. I should say since nationals, and there's a few that have been talking. They mount their catheters Either they spit on them,
Stick and lick.
or they
Oh,
stick and
that's
lick.
horrible.
Or licking sticks.
And most of those guys, I'd say 99% of them haven't had a cat or haven't had UTIs in years.
I know guys that have done
years.
that too.
I mean, and
that's just not a fucking gamble I want to make.
no, I mean,
Yeah, that's
Because like when I'm sitting there getting ready to take a piss, I'm sitting in front of the urinal or toilet. I'm like, oh, I gotta get my fucking hand sanitizer. It's like, well, do I really need my hand sanitizer? And I'm like, well, are my hands really that dirty? And I always end up saying to myself, dude, it's your dick.
you touched the ground, right?
No, I'm always like, dude, it's your dick. Like, if you want it to fucking rot away and fall off with a UTI, it's your dick.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, all right, motherfucker, I'm gonna grab my hand sanitizer.
I'll tell you, like, the only
That's a good
times I
decision.
really get UTIs is when I'm at a hospital for a long period of time,
Oh,
or
yeah.
someplace like that. Where there's,
Yeah.
like if you're at a mall and you're pushing around that, and then you go to the bathroom right away. It's like there's just so much diseases and stuff, or not diseases, but infections that are floating around.
When you're pushing around outside a lot, the last major one I got, I was in Argentina, and I was pushing around without gloves.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a nasty one. The flight home fucking sucked, but yeah, no, it's the hand sanitizer thing. Like, pre-wash
Yep.
your hands. Like, I mean, it's your dick.
Yep.
You don't really have to, but I mean, it's your dick. Let it fucking rot away and fall off from the inside out. Don't matter to me. It's your dick.
Although I use the those speedy casts, and you don't really touch anything, so those save on UTIs a lot.
I don't really touch a lot. I don't use the speedy cast, but I mean, my routine, I don't really touch a whole lot of things, but it's just being in the environment and having the stuff like on your hands, and you're kind of reaching around down there and
Accidentally
just
rubbing on
pulling
something.
things out. And, I mean,
Yep.
it's just like, does not take you any more time than but like 15 seconds to just wash your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
True story.
I will say
And
that.
always wear gloves if you're at an airport or a hospital when you're pushing.
Gloves, yeah, so it's such an inconvenience for most quads to put gloves on.
I'm so lazy about it too.
But I will say this, man, if you're going to be pushing outside, just take that extra
oh
time.
yeah,
Yep.
Put the gloves on, because it's going to save you with the calluses and all that down the road for sure. But then it's also keeping the shit off your hands, because you got to imagine a typical street in a major U.S. city. There's going to be fecal matter somewhere.
Yep.
Somebody walked into the wrong restroom.
someone's dog pooped on
Stepped
the
in
street.
shit, or some dude stepped in shit and
Okay.
fucking tracked it.
Whoa,
like,
on that note, have you guys ever done that? I've done that before.
Stepped
And it's
in
I
pissed me
have
off.
stepped in
Or
shit.
Rolled over dog shit like on the street or in the grass.
I have
Get
3
stuck
dogs
to the
at home.
tires. It's on my hands now.
I haven't, no, because I'm really aware of
man.
where I'm rolling.
Well, I
especially
thought
out
I
in
was.
public.
I
Back
thought it
into
was, but Jesus, man, that sucked.
And it straight up caked on. And
It caked on and got on my hands, my clothes. I'm like,
oh,
what is going on? And then
You get
luckily
the
I had an
garden hose
AB
out.
next to me that was like willing to help
what do
me
you
clean
do?
up.
You
And
just go grab some napkins?
yeah, and baby wipes
Yeah.
and just do your best.
Because you
but-
remember, like, back in the day when you were a kid, like, when you stepped in dog shit and you'd had to go over the curb
Yeah.
and do the scrape.
I mean, like, you know what? Worse than dog shit. Like, you've been shit on by a bird.
I've been,
No.
yeah, I had a bird take a leaf on me. Coming up.
We
I was-
were in Europe and there was birds just all
Supposedly,
over the
they
place,
say it's
bro.
good luck.
Okay,
That's
well,
great.
that's great. Well, I'm glad that you have good luck, Tim.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad that I don't.
No, man, it happened to me. I was in AB, and I just got done surfing in Oregon. I was just walking up to the hotel.
How'd that turn out?
Surfing in Oregon?
No, your luck.
Things worked out. Yeah. Making a pretty good living. No, yeah, and then I felt like a drop on my shoulder, and I was like, oh, I guess it's gonna start to rain. I think my mom or like
Nope.
my brother was behind me. Was like, what are you talking about? And they were laughing, and I looked up and I was like, I just felt a raindrop. I'm looking up and was like, all I see is seagulls,
Oh
Wow.
man.
no clouds or anything, and I was like, oh fuck, there's poop on my shoulder, isn't there? Dropped my shit, just ran to the outdoor shower. I was like, oh, gross.
Oh.
That's when my mom was like, supposedly, like, in some Asian cultures, it's good luck. I was like, I guess, all right.
Thanks, Mom.
Well, boys, we're well past over an hour now. What do you say we wrap this thing up, go back outside, and
Kick your ass at poker? Yeah. Cool, I'm down.
I forgot about that. We're gonna get to that, and then me and Rob are gonna get it on.
We got a little quad wrestling going on.
Oh,
Little
boy.
crib jitsu.
He's just jealous because he's seen me put Chris Hall on the floor at nationals.
You're talking about beating a fat guy?
Well,
Are you talking about being
and
in,
right before that,
I just want to say,
I
if
had
Chris
put
is
Chris
listening to
Fleece.
this, I did not call Chris a fat guy.
And right before
do
that,
not
I
side
put
with
Chris
him on this
Fleece
one.
on the floor.
Chris is one of my best friends. You're talking about beating an overweight gentleman.
Okay, so you're right. So I beat a skinny 0.5 and I beat a fat.
Who's your
point-
skinny 0.5?
It's Chris Fleece.
Oh, you're talking about beating a cracked out dude right now? Like Skeletor? You're talking about beating up Skeletor? The guy that has like...
I mean, he's only got like 2% more body fat or less than I do. You know, I mean, me and him are pretty close.
That was like Noah the other day bragging about beating his old man in arm wrestling. I'm like, dude, he's 65 with brittle bones, that osteoporosis. Like... You're literally here bragging about beating your old man. Like, okay, dude, you're a real tough guy. Anyways, we're a fuck. I can't. This episode, I don't even know if I can hear this. We're gonna wrap it up, man. Hey, thank you both for coming on the show, man. This has been a fucking fun episode.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. Hey, that was our episode. We're out.